and welcome to my writing vlog. I'm going to be working on my book, which I'll call How I Conquered, or HIC. And I want to do this because I think it will motivate me to hopefully get it done. And I think it'll be really cool to be able to look back on this and see my thoughts as I was writing it. All right, let's do a little update from when I talked about this in January. So now I have an outline, and there are 19 chapters in that outline. It was an interesting outline process. I wrote 1 through 19 on my Word doc. Actually, I use pages. But then I had like some of the story thought of, particularly the ending and the beginning. The middle, that's always my tricky part. And so I kind of filled in like, oh, chapter 19, this happens. But this filling in stuff, it was very big idea bullet point, and it was not a breakdown of scenes. So, for example, I don't want to like spoil anything in the book, but whatever. In one of the chapters, like, I wrote, Julian bonds with Kevin. Oh my god. Now you know the whole book. Yeah, Julian bonds with Kevin. But I didn't really write in that outline like what they do, what that looks like, how they bond. So in that way, I'm actually like happy with this. I mean, I think probably in an ideal world I would have all the scenes. But I'm happy with this outline because a part of me likes to pants, a part of me needs to plan. That's kind of how I feel where I fall. Is what is worse than the blank page, you know? So at least with an outline, the page never starts blank. There's a bullet point telling me what I need to do. So right now I'm writing chapter 2. Now here's the crazy thing about middle grade to me, that since this is like a middle grade book, like for 5th graders, like, the chapters are only like 2,000 words. So I'm like, that's crazy. I definitely think I can break out 2,000 words a day. So where I'm at with chapter 2, I've already hit 2,000 words, and I have kind of fulfilled my outline bullet point, but I just feel like, you know, I feel like hesitating what to share because it's just kind of fun to think about ultimately one day sharing this project. But, you know, this is just my little subscribers and me and Natalie and Kavya and everyone who's watching. So I'm just going to just say it. So chapter 2 is like his first day of school. I did a scene where he's introducing himself to the class. But I just feel, you know, to properly fulfill my bullet point, his first day of school, I want to like go through the whole day. So I'm just sort of like challenging myself to keep writing it. And that's kind of like the pantsing element where like I'm kind of discovering what his first day is going to be as well. So yeah, and then it's like ultimately I think, you know, it will need to be cut because yeah, probably a chapter is going to be like 2K. But this is, okay, full confession time. Since I made my initial video about this book in January, I started writing it, but I stopped at frickin' chapter 4. This is probably like April. I stopped at chapter 4. I didn't have an outline, and I was like, wait, hold on, this sucks. Which this has happened to me for God knows how many unfinished books. I mean, honestly, if I was gonna guess, like, unfinished book, to have a page written, all the unfinished books I have in my life, I mean, like, 1,000 easily. Probably more than that, but, like, yeah, you know, so how many unfinished projects am I gonna have? But anyway, what usually frickin' stops me is when I go back and reread what I wrote, and then I'm like, wait, this sucks, eggs. And so what's even the point of finishing it? Because, like, this sucks. So, and then that is like the biggest roadblock to writing in my experience, is feeling like, who cares what I have to say? Like, why should I even write this? It doesn't matter. There's a million books, a million people are trying to be published this year. Oh my God, now I'm bringing on the spiral to myself. So how do I break out of that spiral? I persevere. I find the source of that little voice in my mind and I squeeze it and choke it and I destroy it and then I continue to write. So that is what I'm doing with this book because truly, when I search my heart, this is the fire in my heart. This is what I feel so passionately about. What feels so right to me in my bones is that I am an author and I am a writer. All right, I have one more thought before I go write How I Conquered. And that is, why middle grade? And I'm just kind of grappling with that myself. So, I feel growing up, whenever I would tell someone I want to be an author, they would say, like my peers, whatever, would say, oh, yeah, you would write such great children's books. And I think it's because I have a very elementary school librarian vibe about me, even at that young age. So that was always like frustrating to me because I guess it feels like I'm not truly being seen for who I am inside me. I mean, earlier in this video, I did say sucks eggs because I didn't want to curse. But, so that, I think that elementary school librarian is a part of me too, but there is a part of me that wants to fucking publish some smutty romance novels as well. And that's all a part of me. But for a long time, it just felt like all people really saw about me was like that elementary school librarian side. So I very much was determined to fight against that. And I was like, well, when I publish, it's just going to be the fucking X-rated crazy shit that will shock people. And I still think like that is sort of a goal. But I have this like middle grade idea and I feel like so strongly about it that I can picture it so vividly as a book. And, I do love middle grade books. Like, definitely a huge inspiration for How I Conquered is Artemis Fowl. That will definitely be one of the books listed on my query letter. That's like, Artemis Fowl meets Percy Jackson, how people always write that. So, yeah, and Percy Jackson, another example, like a middle grade book I love so much. It's literally in like my top 5 books of all time. So yeah, like I'm proud of middle grade books. I think it's really cool that anyone could read it, from a child to an adult. I think that's really neat that a book can be that and exist available for so many people to read. But I feel like a very strong calling to be a romance author. I love romance genre. And this is what is so peculiar to me. I write a lot of fan fiction, and all of my fan fiction basically is romance. So it's like crazy to me that I struggle so hard to write original romance. And if you look at the love hypothesis, you don't have to struggle that hard. You can just change the names, I guess. Which is like, that's cool and enticing, but all of my fan fiction is, in universe. And so I think like the whole name changing thing lends itself to when it's like an alternate universe, because it would be pretty clear who I'm writing about if I, even with the name change. I think that all the bat accessories might give some stuff away. But yeah, so I still write a lot of fan fiction and it's romance, and so it's just interesting to me because I love writing like the confession scene. I love following the beats of the romance, but I just think the best way for me to explain it is How I Conquered, I close my eyes and I can pluck How I Conquered off a bookshelf because I see it as a completed book. I see the cover. I know what it is. I could open it up and flip to like chapter 7 and I could kind of see like what chapter 7 might be. When it comes to my original romance ideas, like I just don't feel that strongly about it. And God, I want to. And I do feel strongly about like certain fan fictions. Like I will be able to imagine a fan fiction fully formed and pluck that off the shelf and then write that. But yeah, the original, it eludes me. And so I have my writing goals for this year, which are to finish How I Conquered by October and to finish my other book. So I have like a first draft of that already done. It's called Not for Profit. To finish Not for Profit Draft 2 by November. So those are like my main writing goals. But God, I would love to have a romance book done as well. So, yeah, I mean, that's like an ultimate goal, an ultimate dream. So, yeah, that's my update for today. I am going to go write How I Conquered. I'll probably record it and add it to the vlog so you can see my writing. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll definitely try to be making more of these videos. Awesome. Bye.